Welcome to the wonderful tropical pleasure resort sitting pretty in the beautiful village of Plymouth. It is our location for the next half hour as we share with you all the hot topics and major events happening in Tobago in the past week. You'll also get a tour of this lovely property and what it has to offer. So sit back and relax while we bring you all the details. I'm Davia Chambers and Let's Talk Tobago starts right now. The National Gas Rebate Incentive Program has been relaunched to benefit registered fisherfolk and ultimately the consumer. The countdown to the Tobago Heritage Festival kickstarts with the Are We Heritage on the Road Caravan. Tobago selects a new Junior Secretary of Tourism at the recently concluded Annual Tourism Youth Congress. We have all these stories and more when Let's Talk Tobago returns. Stay with us. Guests are free to enjoy the outdoor area and lounge poolside at the recent addition of a majestic 52-feet pool. You'll also have access to a cabana with kitchen facilities. Tropical Pleasure Resort provides a conference room and event center available for rent for events such as meetings, weddings, and other celebrations. It's also conveniently just 2 minutes away from Turtle Beach and 20 minutes from Crown Point A&R Robinson International Airport. July on the island is all about the Tobago Heritage Festival. If you've never experienced the festival, it's an annual series that showcases and aids in preserving Tobago's unique cultural traditions. In the next coming days leading up to the opening of the Tobago Heritage Festival 2022, this is what you can expect to see around Tobago. It's being called Are We Heritage on the Road, executed by the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation in an effort to bring awareness to Tobago's signature cultural event, the Tobago Heritage Festival.
It is designed to promote the Heritage Festival because after we have been devoid of it for 2.5 years, we figured that it was time to really take the heritage, which really belongs to the people, to the people. So we conceived this idea and to take it about through all the community places that we can, the rural areas, and to some of the areas where people are about their daily life duty and workspace. Culture is a vehicle, so we are occupying that vehicle, so to speak, and taking ownership of our cultural legacy and taking it to all and sundry.
Mr. Taylor says locals and visitors alike can be on the lookout for various aspects of Tobago's culture to be on full display.
We plan to go to Palativere and we also plan to go to Charlottesville, Buku. So as we move along, we're taking different aspects that deals with other areas of our team, some of the African traditions, some of our fisher folk stuff, some musical stuff that deals with the way we used to sing, chant, dance, and whatever, some invocational stuff, and generally promoting the heritage, because as each stop we are able to distribute things about our different events that we have, the flagship events we have, like the Miss Heritage Personality.
And persons are already excited to be a part of their favorite village productions.
Charlottesville Natural Treasures Day, because I am from Charlottesville and it's one of the better heritage festivals. It is well organized and we celebrate the traditions of the people living in Charlottesville from year to year, and the crowd that normally comes, they enjoy themselves, and as I said before, it's the best.
Plymouth Juvie and Leicester too, and I believe I'm going to Mariah wedding too.
I look forward to the old time wedding in Mariah, the whole action on the street and the people involvement in the actual procession of the dancing and the village Mako and the whole village life of the Mariah wedding. Look forward to that.
The Tobago Heritage Festival starts on July 22nd with the opening night production spearheaded by the Tobago Performing Arts Company, or TPAC, at Shore Park Complex from 8 p.m. Tickets cost $100 for adults and $50 for children. For more information and the full calendar of events, you can visit the social media pages of Tobago Festivals Commission. July in Tobago is all about the Tobago Heritage Festival. If you've never experienced the festival, it's an annual series that showcases and aids in preserving Tobago's unique cultural traditions. Opening night is always a highly anticipated event on the Heritage calendar. We'll hear all about it from CEO of the Tobago Performing Arts Company, or TPAC, Mr. Elvis Rajman, and Artistic Director, Mrs. Rayshawn Peaku.
So you just witnessed the snippets from the Awi Heritage on the Road caravan in the streets of Scarborough, where they went to various offices, THA offices, and just spoke to persons on the streets. As Davia said, I'm chatting here today with CEO of the Tobago Performing Arts Company, TPAC, Mr. Elvis Rajman, and Artistic Director, Mrs. Rayshon Pear Kerr. And we will be talking about the opening night, which is a signature event of the Tobago Heritage Festival, very anticipated event, and it really sets the stage for the rest of the festival. Hello Elvis, hello Rayshon, and welcome to Let's Talk Tobago.
Hi.
So TPAC was given the responsibility to spearhead the opening night of the Tobago Heritage Festival. Of course, TPAC is recently formed. You're just about how old now?
Just
roughly?
a year and a half.
Just about a year and a half. Tell me, what was it like taking on that responsibility for the first time?
We were elated, excited, still very fearful because there were a lot of moving parts, but this is what the company was created to do. The company was created to really be the vehicle that leads the creative sector on the island, and no better way to do so by the start of the Tobago Heritage Festival. I mean, this opening night sets a tone for what the entire festival is going to be. So we jumped in the process, and both feet. We just jumped in, and of course, with an able-bodied team of professionals as the artistic director and the film director and the music director and our dance and movement coordinator, or orchestra coordinator, Mr. O.J. Richards. Everybody just simply put their hands in and start getting the work done. So we are at a stage at this point in time where all systems are moving as it should. We would have preferred to have a bit more time to kind of really get things moving, but the artistic director and the team, they have been doing yeoman service, and we anticipate people saw bitter cassava, and we intend to better bitter cassava. That is the intention. So people can anticipate a very entertaining night, but full of theater. I mean, we go into the history because we are focusing on something that is very near and dear to us, which is the Silk Cotton Tree. But I will allow the artistic director to go deeper into that.
Before we go into that, I want to touch on the auditions and the response from the creative sector. I mean, you spoke about the fact that the time was not very long. Yeah. And I saw the casting call for the auditions. Tell me, what was the response like from the creative sector here in Tobago?
I mean, it was tremendously exciting. People in all areas of performing arts, in dance and music, just kind of threw their hat in the ring. Children come out. What we saw, and it's important to mention this, we saw a very delicate blend of the mature veteran performers, those who have walked the length and breadth of the heritage opening night, those who know the process. We also saw a lot of children from all of the creative and cultural groups across Tobago, the Youth Quakes and the Rhythmic Vibrations and the Zantes, you name it. We saw those groups representing. And what that did is that it said to us that all people in the communities are looking for spaces with which the training can be extended, and with which they can come in and just share in our own storytelling, because we know Tobago stories excite all of us.
And what I found interesting is that the auditions deadline, it closed very quickly.
It did. The thing about opening night is that we're balancing complement, size of cast, because you know the larger the cast gets, is the more management it requires, and the bigger budget it needs. So coming out of the opening night auditions, we naturally had more than we needed, and so just in keeping with the numbers that was conducive for the production and for the show, we kind of had to shave that down. But what we also do, and I have to mention and commend the Heritage Personality Committee, those people who were unsuccessful in the opening night audition, also through the direction of the CEO, we moved them over to the Heritage Personality. In that way, everybody kind of get a piece of the pie, everybody get the opportunity to share and to perform, and of course to generate some level of income.
Excellent. So without giving away too much, because of course we want to keep that element of surprise and excitement, without giving away too much, tell us, what can we expect for the opening night of Tobago Heritage Festival 2022?
You can expect a return to something that we've already experienced. I think all of us saw it, we heard it, we read it on the 2nd of December 2020, and we just kind of sat still when the tree in Cologne fell. Many of us not knowing what to do, knowing the stories and the myths that we associate with the tree, those things that were told to us, and those things that we told ourselves, we kind of spent a lot of time on Facebook murmuring about what it was and what it could be. But what we did not do is we did not celebrate that role that the tree had played in all of our heritage. And what this particular opening night gives us the opportunity to do is to revisit that. The tree, its legacy, its history, and the people that we've associated with the tree, the coming of age of the tree, what the tree has done for us as Tobagonians, and our stories. And so that is what you can expect: a venerating of the tree, a celebrating of the tree, some myth busting. You can expect that, because what is opening night without education? What is opening night without entertainment? Coming off of Bitter Cassava, and I want to say categorically clear, people must associate TPAC with excellence. It is the CEO standard, is my standard, is all of the creative team standard. Excellence, excellence, excellence. So you can expect excitement, you can expect creative use of technology, LEDs, you can expect explosive dancing, all of it. Just come with an open mind, just come early, just expect it.
And the energy and night of excellence. By way of comparison, how would you compare the preparations for Bitter Cassava with the preparations you are doing now for the opening night?
A production generally needs about 2.5 to 3 months for it to come off the ground properly. That is all things considered: administrative work, logistical work, technical development. What we've had to do this time around, and the thing about Bitter Cassava was done based on an established script. Bitter Cassava script was written since the 1979 or somewhere. For this opening night, we had to write the script from scratch, and that research process and all of those things required time, and required the kind of time that we did not have. But what we've seen over time is as you said, Avi, we had to just kind of turn water into wine. So over the last 6 weeks, the team has had to double up and triple up on its efforts to make sure that we got everything done. Once we had the vendors coming in, that kind of changed the dynamics, so rehearsals had to happen in a certain way. The other thing about the difference between Bitter Cassava and the opening night, and the opening night production is called Treasures of the Tree. I don't think I mentioned that before, is that a lot of what we're doing had to be built from the ground up, as opposed to Bitter Cassava, which was an established script, which naturally means more work. More work with less time. So that's the major difference. That's the major difference. Yeah, one of the things that we're going for this time around as well is significant use of technology. So we're filming, and the filming is happening in some instances. You're seeing what is happening on stage is mirrored. It's just very exciting, very, very two different experiences, because it is two different stories. But the excitement level, though, that's the thing that is similar, synonymous with both: excitement.
But what is also interesting to the entire process, because I'm with the team. I like to be on the ground with the team. So I mean, they set up an exercise where we visited Culloden.
Yeah.
We actually went to Culloden at the site of where the tree fell, and we met with, I can't forget his name, Red Cap. They call him Red Cap. He is one of the knowledge bearers, among others that we would have spoken to on that day, because it's all part of the research. So we are not just bringing fairy tales. We are going to the knowledge bearers who have a certain kind of experience and knowledge, and we are now bringing that to stage, because the edutainment aspect is very important. The educational aspect of it is very important. How do we have the next generation understand the stories? How do we have the next generation understand what has been passed on? So we have found a very interesting way of putting it on stage, and no better team to do it but TPAC. And we are happy that we've been given these sort of mandates to kind of really lead the way, and we don't take that lightly. We take it very seriously. And we are happy to be doing what we're doing at this point in time, and it's excited for the rest of Tobago, because what I see coming out of our last experience, we saw an upsurge, a re-energizing of the sector, the cultural sector. People are messaging us daily: when are you all taking on more residents? We want to become a part of this. And when we have the young people start talking that in 3 years' time, I'll be coming to TPAC, it says that we have succession, and then we could continue the life of what we feel very strongly about. So the entire process has been very time consuming. It's been tiring. I mean, I am tired right now, but you know what?
But you all are
Excellent,
absolute
excellent,
lovers of what you do.
yes, yes.
So it doesn't feel like work.
No, it does not feel like work. We're happy. We're very happy. We're happy.
Excellent. So Elvis and Rayshon, thank you so much for joining us on Let's Talk Tobago. I just want you to close off with telling Tobagonians, and not only Tobagonians, because that weekend we are going to have a lot of Trinidadians on the island. In fact, all July, August, right through the year, we have a lot. Our domestic tourism is booming. Just talk to the people in terms of coming out on Friday 22nd. It is Friday 22nd of July.
So what I would say, join with TPAC, join with the division, join with Festival Commission, and let's break some records at Shore Park Cultural Complex. The Shore Park Cultural Complex has a seating capacity of 3,500. We want 3,000. We're giving a little 500 for COVID spacing, but we want 3,000. So we really want people to come from all ends of the island, from Charlottesville, Pembroke, Lescotto, Plymouth, Canaan, come out. But we also want our brothers and sisters, or culture lovers, or activists from Trinidad. Journey on the boat. It's only $100. Come over. You'll have a wonderful time because, one, you'll have a drop-dead performance on stage led by TPAC and some of Tobago's best creatives, as well as you get to really immerse yourself in some of the culinary delights that the Tobago Heritage Festival has to offer. And then it gives you an insight as to what you can expect for the rest of the season. So we ask them to come out, but one thing I have to stress, it starts at 8 o'clock. I'm going to look directly at the camera.
And 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. It starts
Not
at 8
Tobago
o'clock.
time. 8 o'clock.
8 is 8.
o'clock.
Because what has been our experience is that with the anticipation, because a lot of people got very excited once they heard that TPAC was in the lead in terms of this process, because people were kind of boggled down in terms of they think it's the same old thing. So there's a level of anticipation, but with the anticipation, it means more people. And then, of course, we have to go through our processes. We're still going to do our COVID protocols to ensure that people are safe. People wear their masks, and we do our data collection and everything. But people need to be there ahead of time. So therefore, I would recommend people are there at least 25 minutes before start time to get your seat.
Because the house opens at 30 minutes before.
Yes, correct. Yes.
Okay, so you open at 7:30.
Yes, the house opens at 7:30. And what I would say is that you, much like me and all others, we've had to sit for the last 2 years and just experience the heritage virtually, which was something that was very foreign to all of us. But heritage is back. Heritage is back with a bang. And if I was you, I would not be home. I just wouldn't do it. I just would not do it. Next week, Friday, the 22nd of July, 8 p.m., Shore Park. Come out in your dandan, put on your frock, put on your high heels, show your sneakers, whatever make you feel comfortable. Put your hat on your head, put on your wig, your weave, you bring your aunt, your cousin, just bring everybody, because you don't want to have to hear about it afterwards. I wouldn't want to be you if that's the choice that you make. Come.
I'm just listening and looking at Rayshon, and it's giving you a taste because she speaks as though she's on the stage.
Of course. But people made a mistake with Bitter Cassava. The first time we ran the show, people thought it was just a regular thing, and they missed it. And everybody else that missed it after. So we have been getting a lot of calls. When are you going to do this again? And we have a surprise which we'll share in the upcoming days. Don't let the opening night be that. Let this be a fashion statement. Come out in your full thing. Go buy all your seamstresses, get your big frock, your big dress. Come out nice. Let me celebrate the culture in fine style, and we could do that.
Thank you so very much.
Just in terms of tickets, just a reminder that tickets cost for adults $100, and for children it is $50. You can get tickets at Tobago Festival Commissions along with some other outlets. But if you don't have the time to purchase the tickets before, you can get it on the night of the show, because like the CEO said, Shore Park get room. So come.
I think you all will have to reconsider that 7:30 opening time, especially if you're selling tickets. But that's for another conversation. Viewers, thank you so much. So as they said, be sure to be at Shore Park on Friday 22nd July. It's only $100 for adults, $50 for children. Doors open from 7:30, but you may want to be lined up there before.
The Roxborough Police Youth Club treats men to a day of relaxation and pampering. We'll tell you more right after this break. Stay with us. Tropical Pleasure Resort provides 11 guest rooms that sleep from 2 to 6 persons. Each air-conditioned room offers a kitchenette, Wi-Fi, smart TV, and a private bathroom for a quiet getaway. Each room has its own private patio so that guests can enjoy the breathtaking scenery of nature, with some rooms even offering a view of the pool. Recently, the Roxborough Police Youth Club turned its attention to treating all males to an evening of fun and self-care. But it was about a lot more than haircuts and pedicures. The men also shared their perspectives on issues such as leadership in the workplace and motivating our young people. Take a look.
From very early, allow your children to know that you value them and you love them. Everything that you do with them, let them understand that daddy is doing this because he loves you. He wants you to, to be a good person. He wants you to be successful. He wants you to develop in the right way. And continue along that line. Do not allow yourselves to become separated from your children.
We have been doing our share, our part to contribute to the education scape and to deliver young men and women who could meet the challenge of what is before them. But what I tell my students is the same thing. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. And to prove it, I would tell them that before you went to school, you were learning without anybody taught you. Who taught you to walk? Who taught you to talk? Who taught you your name? So I try to let them understand that even before you went to school, you had the capacity to learn. We just have to build on it.
I have been in a privileged position to pass on and to make sure that I mentor and coach these young men sufficiently that they too will come and create their impact. They too will come and represent the fire service in a real sense and understand the true philosophy of being a fire officer so that they would contribute to the development of our society.
As an administrator, it's basically like fulfilling a father figure role as well, because you are the head of the division, and of course you would set your standards just as you would set standards for your home, and ensure that the public service regulations, instructions are upheld, all right, just as you would have rules in your house, so you would try to use the same knowledge of managing home with the theory that you would learn in terms of the different subject matter areas to work within the division. And I mean, from time to time, yes, members of staff will have different issues. Some people might be home related, some might be within the workspace. And as the head of the division and carrying out the father figure role there at the division, you are to be able to listen or communicate effectively with your staff so that they understand what are the requirements and apply your own experience as a father when you're treating with issues of staff.
Not very often does this society give men the opportunity to feel appreciated. So all the kudos for the Police Service Youth Club, because it is doing something to men who society often take for granted, often label and so on. And we know for a fact that despite all that is being said and done, there are great men who have been doing a lot of things, and we want to lead by example especially for the young ones who are looking.
This initiative, let us use it as a springboard for men to understand that there is a need to care for yourself. And the ladies and all, when you care for yourself, the ladies appreciate that. And I mean, they have less work in trying to care for you, but they also understand that you have the ambition to care for yourself and to make sure that you present yourself in the best possible form to your society and your family.
We look forward to any initiative where we can get involved in a meaningful way in society. And what a meaningful way to show appreciation to our men. Let's face it, Marlon, from time to time, men have been disempowered. We have been accused, we have been blamed, we have been victims of all kinds. But within society, we are doing an excellent job.
The National Junior Championship returned to the Dwight York Stadium for the first time since last being staged in Tobago back in 2016. Brian McCool was on hand and brings us this next story.
Originally carded to run off at the Dwight York Stadium in 2020, the prestigious meet suffered a 2-year delay due to COVID. Now with restrictions lifted, following consultations with the House of Assembly, the N3As decided to host the National Junior Champs at Bacalet. While organizers praised the stadium as the best track and field venue in the nation, the executive of the National Association of Amateur Athletics explains such a meet requires logistical and financial planning.
It would require more clubs, more athletes to come from Trinidad. So if you like, the burden is a little heavier in that sense, but there is some equity in it because usually the Tobago athletes would have to come to Trinidad. So on this occasion, the Trinidadians are coming up.
Also adding to this expense is the lack of officiate track and field equipment in Tobago.
We have to bring across officials, we have to bring across equipment and so on. So you have some additional costs there, and as a non-for-profit organization, it really means going out and finding sponsors.
Competing athletes were cheered on by spectators, which included Olympian and national senior athlete Simoy Hackett.
I'm also proud to see the young athletes being a part of the this development stage, and that they are actually running and competing fiercely, and they are putting their best foot forward to make their team, their country and their community proud.
Tobago's first Olympian, Sheridan Kirk, still holds the national record for the 800-meter event. Reminiscing on his track days, he believes a greater level of professionalism should be endorsed on the island in terms of sports science.
Once the entries and all the governing bodies that dealing with junior type athletes understand the level of development that is necessary to breed this type of athlete, we could get it right, because just in Tobago here, we were one of the fastest developing track and field islands in the world.
Assistant Secretary in charge of sport, Wayne Clark, was overjoyed to see activity and the many athletes back at the Dwight York Stadium.
While that event was good, we still have a long way to go in terms of putting ourselves together so we could make maximum use of these opportunities. So I look forward to seeing that, you know, we on this side could get ourselves together, that we could look forward and actually make these events more of a regular thing on the program, and, you know, really access the full benefits of what to derive from it.
The National Junior Championships took place on July 9th and 10th, with Tobago club RSS Phoenix out of Roxborough winning the 2022 title. I'm Ryan McCool for Let's Talk Tobago.
The third annual Tourism Youth Congress was hosted recently at the Scarborough Library facility by the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. Students of 8 secondary schools competed for the prestigious title of Tobago Tourism Youth Congress Junior Secretary, but there could only be one winner. So let's see who the lucky person was in this next story. Have a look. Signal Hill Secondary's Janae Brathwaite is the 2022 Tobago Tourism Youth Congress Junior Secretary. Janae edged out 7 other competitors, discussing the benefits of experiential tourism.
As a student who didn't do tourism, and basically I only had the opportunity to learn from close family about tourism, it was something that, you know, really challenged me to do some research, to understand certain things as it pertains to tourism, to take the time to sit and practice, to understand, well, you know, Janae, why is tourism important for our island? Why is it important to you? Essentially, when we went to the competition, I was a little intimidated by the persons that was there, because I thought that, you know, probably they did tourism, probably they understand more than me, but all you can really do now is go with God and give it your best shot.
Janae proposes immersive museums as one way of benefiting from experiential tourism.
As a young person, I could understand that we are interested in the partying, the, you know, being a part, a deep connection with whatever we are doing on a spiritual level, on a personal level. You know, we want that opportunity to connect, and Apart from the parties, I believe that in order for persons to understand what Tobago has to offer, we can create immersive museums within Tobago that will allow them to do this while still having the opportunity to party on the island.
She explains that the island should also capitalize on user-generated content, as tourists can build Destination Tobago's brand by sharing experiences on social media.
When we allow these visitors to understand our history and our culture, they know, or we now have the opportunity to preserve it. We allow them to understand what makes Tobago Tobago and essentially what makes us special from the rest of the Caribbean islands. And additionally to this, when we focus on our ecotourism niche, we have the opportunity to preserve the island for future generations.
The 2022 Junior Tourism Secretary also got the judge's nod by responding to the mystery question on identifying 5 attractions which distinguish Tobago as the greatest little island on the planet. Janae highlighted Fort King George, the Brain Coral located off Little Tobago, Argyle and Highlands Waterfalls, and Tobago's annual Tobago Heritage Festival.
I hope that this program will allow them to understand the importance of our rich heritage and culture, the importance that they play in our tourism sector, and overall that it will motivate them to be a part of the tourism industry more.
Placing second was Bishop's High School's Sohaila McCool, and third was Speyside High School's Nivan Kirk. As the winner, Janae also received $2,500, breakfast for 2, and will represent Tobago at the Caribbean Tourism Organization's Regional Youth Congress in the Cayman Islands in September 2022. So we've come to the end of yet another edition of Let's Talk Tobago, and as always, we thank you for watching. Please email us with your comments or queries about the program, and be sure to visit our website, like our Office of the Chief Secretary Facebook page, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. For more information on Tropical Pleasure Resort, you can contact the manager at 721-2222. From our house to yours, I'm Davia Chambers, along with the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, wishing you a safe and productive week.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning to you at 7 a.m. And this is the Tobago Update Morning Show coming to you here live from the Port Hall in Scarborough. We continue to give God thanks for life. I am Julian Ski.
And I am Maria Richardson George, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning to you, Tobago. Good morning, Trinidad. Those of you in the Caribbean and those of you viewing us on the live, good morning, good morning. Julian, Monday morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
It's Monday, the 18th of July, and indeed a beautiful weekend, and I've got to pause to see our backdrop beautiful as we head on into the Tobago Heritage Festival, in keeping with that tone and that energy. As we're looking towards later on in this week, and you know it's particularly special at this time because of the simple fact that we've been out of it, so to speak, in terms of that full kind of celebration for just about 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So we've had virtual and we've had other versions, but certainly most are looking forward to that actual return of that in-person and face-to-face engagement as we indulge and we enjoy that side of our culture and our heritage.
Most definitely, and as far as we know, Julian, all roads lead to Tobago. All roads lead to Tobago this weekend. Persons are certainly looking forward to it. I hope that Caribbean Airlines is ready. I trust that the ferry service is operational and functional, and you know we don't have any hiccups for persons to get to Tobago. So you know, I think most of this week things will be geared towards ensuring that there is a safe Heritage Festival 2022, and you know that all checks and balances are in place.
Ria, I hear you say all roads lead to Tobago, and I say thank God Ria is not a politician. because the last time that was said by the PM, he was crucified by the opposition. So indeed, the words of Ray Richardson, George, and I support all roads lead to Tobago as we celebrate the Heritage Festival. Because what ties into that is we would have also had the lifting of the mask mandate. I'm hoping that we can get on screen.
Do we really have the lifting? Because it's a sort of mask on, mask off scenario.
So if we can get on screen, in terms of, we would have seen the legal notice 140 of 2022 regarding public health that came out, and it speaks to a period of July 17 to September 19th, 2022. And the regulation removes the requirement to wear a mask in public places except in private and public hospitals and private and public medical clinics.
Churches.
Oh, yes. And then they go on to strongly recommend that persons continue to observe personal responsibility through frequent washing of their hands, maintaining of social distances, and also seeking to wear. But I see a number of places, my understanding thus far is that the Catholic Church in specifically may have mentioned that they want to maintain the mask wearing. And so some supermarkets and spaces have already indicated to you that it's optional. You have to take that kind of personal responsibility. And I suspect very much that may be the stance of most of the institutions. We're yet to hear from, financial institutions and other entities in terms of how this would work, as in who else will be holding on to it, so to speak, in a very firm way, insisting, or whether they will continue to give the option.
I tend to believe that we should, err on the side of caution and, wear the mask. I'm just saying. I mean, there will be opportunities to not wear it, but as far as possible, safeguard you first.
All right, that song, as my grandmother said, I don't care what they decide now. I wear my mask.
Thank you, Granny.
So that choice is up to each and every one at this point. But we just continue to encourage you to be responsible. And let's see what things are like as we continue in TNT with this most recent change or update, I should say, in terms of the regulations. Viewers, listeners, at this point, we head on over to news in 90 seconds.
All right, thank you, Julian and Ria. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Monday, 18 July 2022. The official launch of the Tobago Carnival is set to take place later this week under the theme Welcome to Tobago Carnival. Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Tasha Burris, said it will be a spectator carnival and one that highlights traditional characters. Meanwhile, anticipation for the Tobago Carnival in October is growing, with another band having their launch over the weekend. Zayn launched their band under the theme Treasures of Speyside. The band drew inspiration from the natural elements and historical sites in Speyside. The Tobago Heritage Festival is set to kick off later this week. The opening gala is scheduled for Friday. It runs until August 1st with an Emancipation Day show. Meanwhile, all events are free except for the opening gala and the Miss Tobago Heritage Personality Show. This decision was met with mixed reviews from the public. The Tobago Heritage Festival highlights aspects of the island's culture in various villages. It was cancelled in 2020 and took place virtually in 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, masks are not required anymore on Caribbean Airlines. The airline announced yesterday that they removed their mask mandate policy on all flights. However, passengers will be encouraged to wear their masks at all times. Meanwhile, from today, masks are no longer required in public as a legislation is lifted, although masks remain mandated at health centers and hospitals. Additionally, masks are needed in certain situations such as at the grocery and retail stores, places of worship, schools, workplaces, spas, salons, cinemas, and mass gatherings. And that was your news in 90 seconds, and it's back to you, Ria and Julian.
Thank you, Candice.
Thank you very much there, Candice. And as we continue this morning, we're heading on into birthday celebrations. And after a weekend like this, the list is long. The list is long.
So
all right.
This is my darling out there, my niece Tamika Ria George is celebrating her birthday today.
I got
Lots
some
of love
emphasis
going
here
on
on the
to you.
Ria.
Yes, definitely. She looks so much like my eldest daughter.
Happy birthday going out to you. And we're celebrating today as well with Kimoy Pantin. Wishing you a happy birthday, Kimoy Pantin.
And Bertrand Moses, who celebrated his birthday on July 17th. So it's belated greetings going out to you this morning, Bertrand Moses, and lots of love.
All right, sending out birthday shout-outs to Dr. Janelle Moore Scott, celebrating over the weekend. Wishing you a happy birthday.
And one of our friends here throughout the media fraternity, Mr. Ryan O'Neill, celebrating his birthday today, coming out of Betsy's Hope, East Tobago. Ryan, love going out to you this morning from the Tobago Updates family.
And this is the 4th birthday celebration here. And this birthday would have been celebrated over the weekend. I think it's Folasade.
Folosade.
Folosade. Let me get the pronunciation right.
Yes.
Folosade Duncan. Wishing you a happy birthday.
And we've got Akeem Anthony. Akeem, happy birthday. Love going out to you from the Tobago Updates family.
Miss Thelma Coker. Miss Thelma Coker wishing you a happy birthday, coming from the Tobago Updates family.
And that's 85 years there for Miss Thelma Coker.
Celebrating 85. And this birthday shout out goes out to Rory Butler out there in Antigua and Barbuda. Wishing you a happy birthday, Rory.
And okay, I know we've got one more.
One more in the mix.
We're supposed to have one more there.
It's coming on up. But as we looked at the last weekend, it's been quite an interesting time. I had the opportunity to pass through the Zane band launch that took place for the latter part. But let's get that birthday in first.
That's right. And this is birthday greetings going out this morning to Brittany Bedlow. And the greetings come to you, Brittany, from your mom, Gemma Bedlow Dennis, and dad, Elvis Dennis, and from your aunts and uncles and the rest of the family. So have a great one this morning.
So happy birthday going out to all those persons celebrating. And I was able to take in on social media in terms of some of those that took place before. And also being able to pass through at Zane. And I have to say that I am proud to see this stepping up efforts in Tobago with regards to responding to that anticipation for the October Carnival. Yes, we're still anticipating a lot of the details to come out, but these bands have made a determination. Hey, we're not wasting any time at all. We're getting going almost immediately.
Right, and I saw some of the comments. Persons were indicating that there's a lot of creativity, a lot more creativity coming out of some of the bands, almost as though they needed that 2-year hiatus to regroup and come up with some new ideas. So we're seeing less skimpy on the on the outfits, but more creativity.
All right, so we look forward to that as we head on in. This is our startup towards the Tobago Heritage Festival. And, we have all the activities lined up for this July-August period. And, yes, we're all anticipating October 2022 for our October Tobago Carnival. All right, viewers, we want to thank you so much. Those of you connecting with us via TV, those connecting via radio, those listeners. And we want to thank you so much for that continued love and support. And for those of you online, remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
I just want a microphone.
Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
There we go to Tobago, that paradise, Bombay, Robinson Crusoe. And it is said, it's the land of tomorrow. Princess Margaret say, come Tobago for holiday. Now the whole world say, come Tobago for holiday. let we smile in Tobago, that paradise found by Robinson Crusoe. And it is said, it's the land of tomorrow. Ronald Reagan said, come Tobago for holiday. Now Bill Clinton said, come Tobago for holiday. If you want a happy vacation, you can get it right here in my land. If you want a happy vacation, you can get it right here in my land.
Our national borders, our first step to security, but a possible access point for guns, drugs, crime. If it does not look right, do the right thing. Call Crime Stoppers anonymously. 800-8477. Report possible border crime.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back this morning to the Tobago Updates morning show. We're chatting this morning with Junior Benjamin, Senior Superintendent of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. This morning our focus is on mask on, mask off. He'll give us some updates on that as well. We're going to be talking about the care and custody of children over the July-August vacation. All right, so good morning and welcome to you.
Hi, pleasant morning, and it's a privilege to be here.
It's good to be able to chat with you this morning. Let's start things off this morning. Now, according to the mandate, the Minister of Health would have mentioned a few weeks ago about the lifting of the mask wearing being today, the 17th of July 2022. Today, persons are excited. A lot of persons are hopeful and excited to not wear the mask. But we're seeing that, you know, it's a case of mask on, mask off. So you're allowed to not wear the mask, but you must wear it in certain areas, certain situations. Yeah. Give us some more information on that.
All right. Well, first of all, again, I like to put it this way. You know, we have the freedom of not wearing the mask, but freedom is not freeness. All right. There are always going to be limitations. And again, based on the recent public health regulations or legislation, there was a legal notice that came out, and again, it clearly states that a person is required to wear at least, that face mask, face shield, or even face covering that covers both the chin, nose, and mouth in at least three main places. One being the public hospitals, public and private hospitals, also in I think it is the medical clinics as well, public and private medical clinics. So you are required to at least still wear your face mask where that is concerned. Other than that, there is a liberty that is given, and I am saying that that must be taken in relation to that kind of, concern that the pandemic is still around. So then businesses have that option whether or not they would want to continue to enforce wearing that mask. And a person should respect, the, whatever rights that a business wants to impose if they want to. Only persons with masks could enter. It is optional, but a business have that authority to do that.
I mean, should this ordinance be revisited, seeing that just about a week or two ago there was a variant of the COVID-19 virus found here in Trinidad?
Well, again, I think everything must be taken within its own context, and no matter whether there is another variant or not, I think it's very important that every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago become a responsible individual in terms of how he or she conduct his or her affairs. We must be our brother's keeper, and therefore, even if there is a new variant, I think that we're not sure exactly how this thing is going to continue to pan out, but we are hoping at the end of the day, after all these, after the last couple of years, at least we should know how we should do things. I always tell people there is the right way to do things, and there's doing things right. We need to not just do the right things, but we need to do things right. And all time sanitize, wear your mask, and wash your hands. These are the 3 W's, and I would continue to tell persons, it doesn't matter whether a variant or not, you should continue to do that.
All right, well, thank you so much for that update. Let's switch gears a little bit here as we focus a little bit on the care and custody of children during the July-August vacation. Now, we've got a bumper weekend not even a bumper month or so in Tobago, kicking things off with the Tobago Heritage Festival. We've got, summer camps, school is out. Children on vacation, the care and custody of children. Let's get into that discussion. We've got daycares, we've got summer camps running, but what should persons be mindful of? In fact, what should parents be mindful of when seeking out somewhere for their children to remain during the July-August vacation?
One of the things that, especially as we deal with our children, it's so important to appreciate the fact that they are the next generation, and therefore it's important, how we treat our children. One of the things that we recognize is that parents at this point in time, many of them, they are busy because they have to work, and then we have to take care of these children even during this time. And what you find is that some parents would actually leave their children at home, run to work, and try to come back. And we're saying that is a very dangerous practice. In fact, when you look at the Children's Act, that is part of abandonment. And if you're found in that position, I want to just remind persons based on the Children's Act that once charged summarily with that offense, you can have a fine of $5,000 and 6 years imprisonment. And I'm saying and 6 years, not or. So it means and 6 years imprisonment. And if you're charged indictably, you can face up to $50,000 and 10 years imprisonment.
And just to be clear, according to the Children's Act, what age is considered a child?
Under 18 years is considered.
Just say it one more time, yes, please, because I think there are persons out there who need to hear it.
Yes, it's under 18 years, all right, it's considered a child, and therefore you want to be careful, even if a person is 17 and you might say, well, yeah, that's a big boy. You know, want to be very careful that at least you put things in place to ensure that persons or children, once considered under the Act, at least there is somebody taking care of that child. And we want to say not just any person, because what we recognize is that some people carry them to grandpa and granny house, and grandpa and granny have back problems, they can't even walk properly, and so on. We say no, you want to ensure that the person that is taking care of that child is a responsible and competent adult that is able to look after the child. So you want to do that. And in what we recognize as well is that we have some camps. So then persons normally find an other alternative in that they decide, okay, well, I'm going to send my child to a camp. We're saying not a bad suggestion, but please do your background check and ensure that at least, those camps are, one that you believe hold up the ideals that you want to teach, and I tell people, recently we had a situation where, again, because it wasn't clear in a school where, again, a parent carried their child, and then by the evening found out that the child was in the U.S. You understand? That's how bad it is, because, again, certain things wasn't clear as to how, who would collect the child, and before you know it, it was one thing against the next. When we found out the person was away, and the child was away. So we want to avoid those situations. Be clear who is going to pick up the child, let them know, and ensure at all times that you teach your children certain principles. They must know from a very tender age their name, their address, mommy's name, telephone number. These are some of the things so that a child is able to at least help the police in, let's say they are lost, they're misplaced, these things are there. So these are some of the things that we want to just encourage persons as well.
Now, you just spoke about the personnel, the parents' responsibility, and the personnel maybe at summer camps and some of these daycares. But what about the environment? Let's speak about the safety of the environment. You mentioned a little while ago some parents may tend to send the children off to granny and grandpa's, and it may be a familiar location, a familiar place. The children would have grown up within the environment, but you're never sure who is coming to visit granny and grandpa, and the persons within the area. Let's talk about the environment.
Yes, and again, and even to add to that, I think sometimes you even find parents carrying children to these daycare centers, and I tell persons, if that is the case, it's so important that, you give them the unexpected visit.
Right.
Just like that, just show up, just to see, hey, what is happening here. Very important as well is that you do your normally due diligence when you pick up that child. How was your day? How was the daycare? tell me what you did today, and you keep that relationship so that the child could tell you about their day, you know, if you find something uncomfortable, because sometimes we even carry them to by a relative, by auntie, and then, you know,
thinking that it's safe.
That's right. And sometimes what we recognize, a lot of the offenses that take place with children happens from families. You understand? And therefore, you can't really assume that because it's a family, everything will be okay. But when you take up that child and, you know, you're talking to that child, create that level of, you know, interaction that that child is able to share if something is, you know, wrong, you know, what we call good touch, bad touch. They must be able to tell you that and feel comfortable knowing that daddy or mommy is going to listen to me and they're going to do something about it.
You know, let me just share something really quickly here. I could have been, you know, very much under 12 years old, and I remember my father teaching my siblings and I, you know, there are times, because the world was changing at that time. That's just a few years ago, but the world was already changing. But he did indicate us a safe note.
Yes.
And that safe note, he said that if ever he were to send anyone to pick us up from school, that he would send a note. And he gave us specific instructions on how that note would be. It would not be, I, Elton Richardson, have sent XY Junior Benjamin to collect. No. But he gave us, I mean, there was a way that he did it that we understood. And that was his safe way of letting us know that, you know, nobody's to come and say, well, your daddy sent me to pick you up or to collect you from school. There would be this note, and we would understand this note. So I think it's a nice way, an interesting way of parents teaching their children. Don't just accept what this adult is telling you. Okay, don't just accept that Mr. Tom is going to tell you that I sent, your father or your mother sent him to collect you. Because like I said, the world was changing then, and it's changed even more now.
Certainly, certainly. And I would even add to that. I want to add to that. Because the truth is, you need to have such conversation with your children as to a core.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you actually carry your children out, or your child is coming back from the movies and so on. There must be a code so that you know you could pick up, you know, something is wrong. So I remember, you know, teaching my and again, my family long ago, the code here is blue. Whenever you hear blue. So, you know, if I'm talking and I said, whenever you get home, make sure and check that blue jacket, all right? It's very important. You know that something is wrong. So I'm just saying, sometimes these are some of the things that, especially in this time, you have to come up with different ways and means talking to your children, because they can be in a car, but they can't say, hey, something is wrong, mommy. But when you hear that code, you know, hey, one time, keep your phone on, no problem. Hey, let me call the police. Let me do something. My son or my daughter is in trouble. We have to start to operate at that level, especially if we want to ensure that we solve the crime situation in our country today.
And what other bits of information would you like to leave with our viewers this morning?
Well, again, we want to tell persons, especially with care and custody, we know that persons like to go to the beach, and sometimes they have these nice pools outside. Please, if you have your children with you, we want you to monitor them. If they are outside, don't just say, well, they're outside. No, go monitor them, because again, we've seen in the past where children have been left, they fall into pools and drowned, they in the sea, and then nobody take care of them, they're going missing. Please, let us start to be more responsible in terms of how we look after our children. And at the end of the day, what we just want to encourage, Trinidad and Tobago on a whole, let us see what we can do to ensure safety during this time period. It's very important.
Okay, most definitely. And I really want to thank you this morning, Officer Benjamin, for being on the program with us and sharing these bits of information. It is crucial, it is critical even for this time. Yeah?
Certainly, and it's a privilege. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Viewers, we're going to shift gears even as we head over into our good stuff. And in our good stuff this morning, DeGans Golden at NGC and NAATT Junior Champs. And that is Janae DeGans earned 4 gold medals in total at the NGC NAAA's TT National Junior Championships at the Dwight York Stadium in Tobago 2 weeks ago. On Saturday, she topped the 100-meter long jump event, while on Sunday, DeGans got to the line in a personal best of 23.78 seconds to strike gold in the girls under 17 200-meter event. Her time was well inside the 24.40 World Under-20 Women's Half-Lap Standard. The Gans returned to the track for the girls Under-17 4x100 relay, helping Concord to victory in 49.59 seconds. She teamed up with Symphony Patrick, Kenisha Alexis, and Gianna Paul in the 4x1. Shaquem McKay also battered the 21.40 seconds World Under-20 Men's 200 standard for the third time this year as the Abilene Wildcat sprinter stopped the clock at 21.34 seconds for gold. The Athletic Under-20 Championships is in Cali, Colombia, is scheduled for August 2nd to 7th of the N3A's TT. So congratulations this morning going out to you, Janae, and to your mommy, Pastor Zelia Scott DeGans, and your daddy, Andre, Pastor Andre. You know, congratulations to all of you guys. So love going out to you this morning. Viewers, lots more coming up this morning on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Stay tuned and join us just after as you share the live, share the live, share the live.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your nice car get damaged bad, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. If sickness catch you off guard, I tell them never ever worry. If times fall on you real hard, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Excel Spa by Haley, where our highly trained staff are ready to deliver the top-class services in facial massages, waxing, nail enhancement and body treatment. We are ideally located at Coco Avenue, Susalands, Tobago. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TripAdvisor, or you can call us on 730-0149. Excel Spa by Haley. Relax, renew, and rejuvenate.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Festival as we celebrate 35 years. And so I want to take the opportunity to welcome on set Elvis Rajman, CEO of the Tobago Performing Arts Company, better known as TPAC, making waves in Trinidad and Tobago. Morning to you.
Good morning, Julian, and good morning to all the viewers.
All right, and before I even dive into the Heritage Festival, tell me very quickly, the success and the efforts that we have seen at the national level, can we anticipate some regional movements for TPAC?
Well, that is certainly in the pipeline. Coming out of the success of the festival around both the local and national, we have been engaged, we've been having certain kind of conversation with other countries about how TPAC and the Cassava and presentations coming out of Tobago can make their way to international theaters. So we're actively having some conversation with some agents in the UK and the Secretary of the Division. She has mandated us to build out a robust international tour plan.
Looking for plants for your garden or even a thoughtful gift for a friend? We at Eden Nurseries are waiting to welcome you with our affordable prices and variety of indoor and outdoor plants, flowers, palms, soil blends, pots, landscaping services, maintenance, irrigation services, and water features. Visit our garden shop and nursery Monday to Friday 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturdays 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. located at the back of Orange Hill Gas Station, Shore Park, Tobago. Or call us 639-0776 and let us help you bring your garden to life.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
7:34 a.m. and we apologize for the little technical difficulties. At this point, we are proud and pleased indeed to welcome on set as we chat Tobago Heritage Festival, Elvis Rachman, CEO for the Tobago Performing Arts Company, better known as TPAC. Morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Julian, and good morning to all viewers. Happy Monday. I'm happy to be here.
All right, and I want to make sure that they didn't miss the information that I had the privilege of hearing. So I want you to give us just a quick snapshot in terms of where is TPAC at after a very successful run in terms of here in Tobago and Trinidad in relation to the recent events.
Well, where more is given, even more is expected. Much more is expected. So coming off after that wave that we had for the Bitter Cassava tour, both local and national, the company, a lot of interest certainly has been really been placed on the company. We're having talks currently with even building out a global tour where we are going to the region, Grenada, Guyana, Barbados, Jamaica, Miami, New York, UK. So we are currently in those conversations. It's a very active conversation because we see the creative arts sector as a way of breaking through the noise and putting Tobago on the landscape, regionally and internationally. And so we're doing the work, but while all that is going on, right now our head is deep in the game with Heritage Festival. Heritage.
And we switch straight on over into the Heritage Festival. Give us a clear idea in terms of what's the lineup for 2022.
Well, I could speak specifically in terms of the Tobago Performing Arts Company. So we were charged with the responsibility of producing the opening night gala. And for those who know, the opening night gala really sets a tone for what people can expect for the heritage. And we've been out, the Tobago Heritage Festival has been out for the last 2.5, 3 years in terms of physical productions. And the team of professionals within the division, led by the secretary, the administrator, the CEO of the Tobago Festival Commission, the cultural officer too, and myself, we would have chatted in terms of come up with how, in terms of the best way for us to roll out the festival. So you saw the calendar coming out that showed Pembroke was one of the communities that is participating, Charlottesville, Lescotto, Plymouth, and of course you have some of the signature events such as the opening night and the Queen Show. So TPAC is charged with that big gun up responsibility of developing the opening night, and that has been a journey. And we're excited. Today is Monday. We have 4 more days before we hit the stage, and the team we're in Shore Park daily, putting the little bells and whistles on what needs to happen. Ms. Rachel Pierre is doing the work with the entire production. Mr. Primer deals with the production management. Shaquille, he's doing all the dances, and we have Justin Peterkin, who is working in magic when it comes to the music. So opening night is expected to be that of Bitter Cassava standard and even more, because we're going to a deep story.
So we're this year's theme for the festival: reflect, rebirth, rejoice, reigniting the flames of our legacy.
Yes.
When as people like to say, we dress up in our very best,
yes,
to come out on opening night. What can one anticipate? Because I know one of the standards of TPAC, and even you, Elvis, is that the experience begins, in fact, by the time you're driving into the Shore Park facility. So walk us through that kind of experience, because we should anticipate no less.
So we understand what it is to play with minds. And it's when you sit in your home and you look at Netflix, you really want to take yourself away from what's around you and just kind of immerse yourself in something different or something new. And we know that is all part of the experience, and we call it the theater experience. So from the time you enter the main lobby at Shore Park, you start to feel, because we want you to start connecting with what we want to share. And by the time you get into the proscenium space and you see or set and you see what we're focusing on, because it's this for the opening night production, our theme is Treasures of the Tree. Because just about a year ago we had the famous silk cotton tree fallen in Culloden, and we said, coming out after 2.5 years, what stories do we want to share? And we felt that this tree, we wanted to celebrate the significance of this tree and the kind of stories that has really fueled the folk art, the culture here on the island. And Ms. Pierre and the entire team would have taken their entire cast up to Culloden and met with some of the knowledge bearers in the area, and just really getting some background information as to the significance of the tree. And it has a lot of different significance. People take a lot of different stories away from it. But we are telling those stories in different ways. So it goes very deep. But it's one that we are very happy to share, and we think the audience is going to equally be very excited about it.
Question: what kind of duration can we look forward to? A start time? Are we anticipating we're going back to the days of our 3-5 hour shows?
No.
Are we doing a precise? Give us a sense. Start time.
Well,
what kind of, so people know the action time, and they know, more importantly, if you think you're getting there an hour late, you might miss the entire thing, as I saw some people ended up in challenges with for Bitter Cassava.
So Julian, the company is about excellence, and setting standards. If you travel to any international country and you're going to see Lion King starts at 8. And once Lion King starts at 8, then you as the patron will know you have to arrive a certain time before. The same thing applies. We're really going to stick to standards. And it may be a little uncomfortable at first, but eventually people will get it. So the show starts promptly at 8 p.m. But coming out of the experience at Bitter Cassava, people want to come out. People want to come, and TPAC has really excited the cultural base on the island. So people are very excited to see what's next on the table. So I would suggest by 7:30, 7:35, you should be at Shore Park. Come, just bask in the ambience that we're gonna be creating in the space. Get there early so you can get your nice seat, get your positioning, because at 8 p.m. sharp it starts. But coming out from Bitter Cassava, we had quite a bit of people coming out. So therefore, if we have a similar traffic, you could find yourselves in lines for about 5 minutes. But if you get there on time, you're fine. You're perfectly fine.
And in this instance, folks, as I always say, to be on time is to be before time ultimately. So you can't come for 8 o'clock for the 8 o'clock start. In fact, I saw some persons having to take in all 3 nights.
Yes.
They were half an hour late the first night. They missed that part, so they decide they will come again the second night, but they were about 10 minutes late and then realized they would have missed so much in the 10 minutes. They say, I finally seen the first half hour by the third night. Speaking specifically now as a reminder to persons, and we're going to pull up that flyer on screen, the opening night gala is cost at adults 100 and children 50. Where can persons access tickets for the opening night?
Well, people, folks can access ticket at the Festival Commission office, and I think there is another outlet in the east side, the Woodward side, at Pablo's. But of course, you could purchase ticket on the night of the show. You could just come to Shore Park. There's a box office there, and you can actually purchase ticket at Shore Park. So therefore, if you can't make it to the Festival Commission's office, or you can't make it to Pablo on the night, just come on time, and you could purchase your ticket right there at the show.
I want you to tell us about the working with these cultural persons in the Tobago space. TPAC has opened up that opportunity, where there was probably a time where persons would say, well, I love and I'm passionate about the culture and the art forms, but in Tobago, I have nowhere for me to go.
Right.
Tell me about how this has, transitioned in terms of incorporating much more persons now with that passion, with that interest and that drive, working along with initiatives in preparation for like the Tobago Heritage Festival and so on. How has that experience been?
So I'm happy you asked that question. I mean, Julian, the orange economy existed for hundreds and hundreds, for years, just for years. We've always talked about, the riches of Tobago's culture. And over years, we have done different things to help strengthen and develop it. What we have done over the past couple of years is really put a lot of attention into training. So that's why we have a number of students leaving Tobago and going on and getting tertiary level education because they love it and they see. But we never had a system or a structure that truly able to bring all of these bodies together where they could harness the energies of the island and be able to present Tobago in a very unique way. So TPAC fortunately was able to do so. So we are now able to really bring that level of creativity, and not just within the areas that we are responsible, which is dance, music, drama, and film, but all areas of the creative sector, and be able to help people develop their own passions in a way that they could actually monetize and give some sort of future, because now people can now aspire to be a dancer, people can now aspire to be an artistic director, people can aspire to be a music coordinator. So TPAC has now created the future, because now people are seeing, parents are seeing that their child who has expressed in a very early age an interest in a particular career in the creative arts sector, and they're seeing a pathway where they can actually have a sustainable living and add value to what they love.
Right, and anytime you interview Elvis, it's so easy to talk culture and the arts because that's where his passion and his drive is. As we look to wrap this morning's interview in the final 30 seconds or so, just remind our viewers why it's important and critical to be out on opening night for this return, or I should say this full return in person of the Tobago Heritage Festival.
So the Tobago Performing Arts Company, as I said before, we're about excellence, excellence, excellence. If you want to have an excellent experience this Friday from 8 p.m., Shore Park is the place to be. The team is working hard to putting all the bells and whistles. It's going to be a movie. Come, with your little handkerchief, because there are times that you will cry, but you will laugh your belly full at the same time. But there are some very serious messages that will be sharing and coming, because it's all about education as well. What's about, you can't be telling stories or educating people, so the education aspect is very important. So come out, dress up nice, come out on Friday, 8 p.m., Shore Park Cultural Complex.
All right, folks, it's about to go down. It's opening night, the Tobago Heritage Festival 2022. Thank you very much, Elvis Rajman, CEO of the Tobago Performing Arts Company, for joining us on set here at the Tobago Updates morning show. Viewers, at this point, we want to remind you this is your chance as we prepare to head on over to our next interview. This is your time to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Come, there we go to Tobago, that paradise, Bombay, Robinson Crusoe. And it is said it's the land of tomorrow. Princess Margaret say, come to Tobago for holiday. Now the whole world say, come to Tobago for holiday. Smile, every smile, every smile in Tobago. Not paradise, Bamba, Robinson Crusoe. As it is said, it's the land of tomorrow. Ronald Reagan say, come to Tobago for holiday. Now Bill Clinton say, come to Tobago for holiday. If you want a happy vacation, you can get it right here in my land. If you want a happy vacation, you can get it right here in my land.
Looking for plants for your garden or even a thoughtful gift for a friend? We at Eden Nurseries are waiting to welcome you with our affordable prices and variety of indoor and outdoor plants, flowers, palms, soil blends, pots, landscaping services, maintenance, irrigation services, and water features. Visit our garden shop and nursery Monday to Friday 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturdays 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. located at the back of Orange Hill Gas Station, Shore Park, Tobago. Or call us 639-0776 and let us help you bring your garden to life.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
And here for viewers, Opulence Global is coming to Trinidad and Tobago. In Trinidad between the 18th and the 19th of July, 5 to 7 p.m. at the La Jolla Auditorium, St. Joseph, Trinidad. And in Tobago, July 21st, 5 to 7 p.m. at the Scarborough New Testament Church of God Conference Hall. Learn how to start your own business. Come meet Opulence Global's Senior Vice President and Chief Designer, Sanas Human, together with our local leaders that will help you open the doors to financial freedom through Opulence Global Business. Book your seat for free. Call 341-0715 Juliet Roberts, or you can email at www.opulence.com/Juliet Roberts. All right, so that's some information there for you. We switch gears at this time, viewers, as we chat this morning with my very good friend on set, Miss Petula Jack. And she is the lead facilitator of the Institute of Academic Support. And this morning she's on the program to chat with us on what the Institute of Academic Support is all about. Petula, good morning and welcome to you.
Hi, good morning, Ria. Good morning, Charlottesville. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and the viewing and listening audience. I'm happy to be here.
It's good to have you. You had to put in that Charlottesville, right?
Yes, I have to put in that Charlottesville. Charlottesville and proud.
That's right. That's right. And you look lovely in your red this morning.
Thank you.
All right. So let's get into things. Now, tell us about the Institute of Academic Support and how it came to being.
The Institute of Academic Support is a newly registered business. I actually registered the business in March of last year. Prior to that, I have been tutoring for 10 years. Not under the name of Institute of Academic Support, but just as Petula Jack, my birth name. Eventually, I would have transitioned to Patient Petula, a name that was given to me by my students.
Why? Yeah, we need to get the backstory for that Patient Petula. Why?
It's a lovely story, Ria. There was a cohort in 2020, and I would have asked them, before the beginning of the class, tell me what are your expectations from me as a tutor, right? And the class was a nice mix. There were persons at the secondary school level as well as persons at the adult level, and they all attested, we want someone who is patient. We want someone who, you wouldn't give up on us. You will take your time with us because we would not have been in school for a long time. At the end of the intake, they all agreed, you are patient Petula, because sometimes class would be from 5 to 7 and I will be in the class 7:30 even up to 8 o'clock, ensuring that they all understand the concepts. Because with me, I prepare persons not only for the exam. I usually tell my students, once you understand the concepts, don't care how the examiner bring the question, you will be able to maneuver.
Yeah. And I love that. I love that. So we'll go with patient Petula this morning.
Yes.
Give us an idea, or give our viewers an idea this morning of who exactly you are. Now, you spoke about, having done this for about 10 years or so. But a little backstory here. Who exactly are you? I mean, yes, we know the Charlottesville.
We know the Charlottesville. That is the first thing I was about to say. I am from Charlottesville, born and bred. I am a mother of one. For now.
Go ahead.
I'm an entrepreneur of 3. I have 3 businesses actually. I'm a past student of Scarborough Secondary School.
Could you say that one more time?
Scarborough Secondary School.
All right.
Capture the flag soon. Right, I'm a past student.
Go ahead.
Of Scarborough Secondary School. I went on to Signal Hill for 6th form, as we will say. I attended USC. I have a bachelor's degree in behavioral science and associate in general business. I went on to do my master's, and let's just say I'm always studying. I'm always studying.
Reaching for the stars.
Reaching for the stars, because I believe in continuous learning and development, and I try to instill the same in my students.
All right. Now, one of our viewers here, Cafe Dick. You know Cafe Dick. Cafe Dick says,
villager.
Big up you, cuz Petula.
Thank you, Cafe.
We get the whole government name. Petula Anola Jack.
Whole birth name.
Aye. All right. All right. So this is just a little background of who you are. But give us an idea, Pet. What were you doing before? Now, you did this for about 10 years. What were you doing before? And did you see this initiative on the horizon? Did you sit as a young girl and say, when I get old, I want to?
Actually, Noria, I started classes initially at the Charlottesville Library. I was head at the library at the time, and I love my community. I realized persons in the area were not obtaining a full CSEC certificate, and I decided that I'll bridge the gap. Seeing that I'm in the library, and that's the best place to really foster learning.
Right.
And I started doing classes from that point. But it wasn't a dream prior to that. Parents were reaching out to me in the area, and I decided to answer the call.
All right. Now, share with us a bit about your vision for the Institute of Academic Support.
My vision is very broad, and that is why I would have transitioned from simply being called Patient Petula or advertising Patient Petula CSEC classes to the Institute of Academic Support. Parents have been reaching out to me. They want academic support, not just in the form of classes, but some persons require SB assistance, personal development. Some persons would ask me, Miss, you don't want to mentor me? You don't want to mentor me, and I feel good that I'm doing something really great and offering not only classes, but that support in terms of academic support, SBA assistance. Persons would have reached out to me as well. Is only CSEC you just tutor, miss? What about SEA? So I have decided to expand the reach of the Institute of Academic Support. And since I began advertising just of last week, Tuesday, persons have been calling teachers as well as students for added subjects. So I tutor in 3 subjects, POB, Social Studies, and Office Administration. But as of September 2022, we are expanding to offer additional classes, additional subject areas, both at the secondary and primary level.
Which means you would be requiring additional
staff. So teachers have been reaching out to me as well, and I welcome everybody aboard. Institute of Academic Support, tagline, Ignite Your Mind.
She has this down pack, she really has it down pack. But let me ask you something here. Where will it be taking place? Is it going to be virtual? Is it going to be face-to-face?
It's strictly virtual. Why? I would have started classes in Charlottesville, as I said previously, and persons began calling, and every call I get, I try to move closer. So I went to Speyside, and eventually I began to get more and more calls. I went to Louisdor, and I keep coming down. But in 2019, I was finishing my master's, and I had to take a short break from the teaching because you know how dissertations can be, right? So I took a break. After which I decided to launch, just as a pilot project, the online virtual classes. And it was a huge success. So even before COVID, even before 2020, when the world adapted to online teaching, the Institute of Academic Support would have pioneered that we were ahead of the game. So as of 2019, we started our online classes, and it is a success. So if something is good, you keep it. So the classes are strictly virtual.
All right. So what is the future? What would you say is the future of the Institute of Academic Support?
The future, as I said, is to expand and offer more and more subject areas because I cannot do it by myself. So the 3 areas that I teach, we want to expand and go further and really give a lot of other subjects to persons who would have really come through my hands and they would have been successful in the OA and the POB and the social, but still require math, English, and a science, etc. So we would have expanded, and we are now offering more subject areas.
All right. But we're going to pause for cause as we head over to Tobago Notes at this time. So we will continue on with you in just a little bit.
Originally carded to run off at the Dwight York Stadium in 2020, the prestigious meet suffered a 2-year delay due to COVID. Now with restrictions lifted, following consultations with the House of Assembly, the N3As decided to host the National Junior Champs at Bacalet. While organizers praised the stadium as the best track and field venue in the nation, the executive of the National Association of Amateur Athletics explains such a meet requires logistical and financial planning.
It would require more clubs, more athletes to come from Trinidad. So if you like, the burden is a little heavier in that sense, but there is some equity in it because usually the Tobago athletes would have to come to Trinidad. So on this occasion, the Trinidadians are coming up.
Also adding to this expense is the lack of officiate track and field equipment in Tobago.
We have to bring across officials, we have to bring across equipment and so on. So you have some additional costs there, and as a non-for-profit organization, it really means going out and finding sponsors.
Competing athletes were cheered on by spectators, which included Olympian and national senior athlete Simoy Hackett.
I'm also proud to see the young athletes being a part of the this development stage, and that they are actually running and competing fiercely, and they are putting their best foot forward to make their team, their country, and their community proud.
Tobago's first Olympian, Sheridan Kirk, still holds the national record for the 800-meter event. Reminiscing on his track days, he believes a greater level of professionalism should be endorsed on the island in terms of sports science.
Once the entries and all the governing bodies that dealing with junior type athletes understand the level of development that is necessary to breed this type of athlete, we could get it right, because just in Tobago here, we were one of the fastest developing track and field islands in the world.
Assistant Secretary in charge of sport, Wayne Clark, was overjoyed to see activity and the many athletes back at the Dwight York Stadium.
While that event was good, we still have a long way to go in terms of putting ourselves together so we could make maximum use of these opportunities. So I look forward to seeing that, you know, we on this side could get ourselves together, that we could look forward and actually make these events more of a regular thing on the program, and, you know, really access the full benefits of what to derive from it.
The National Junior Championships took place on July 9th and 10th, with Tobago club RSS Phoenix out of Roxborough winning the 2022 title.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Petula Jack, and she is the lead facilitator for the Institute of Academic Support. Now, Petula, just before we, while we were conversing just before Tobago Note, give us an idea. Is this organization accredited?
No, at this time we are not accredited as yet. But just of last week, I have a friend, she's an old classmate. She has a master's in education, and she would have sent to me in my email the requirements for the accreditation. So I began looking at it. It's something I definitely want to take up in the future, as we want to offer not only CSEC subjects, but personal and professional development courses as well. So accreditation will come. Probably the next time I'm here, I'll tell you about that.
We look forward to part 2. All right, now give us an idea here of, what's coming up. What are some of your upcoming events?
Upcoming on July the 26th, 27th, 28th, I'm having free CSEC orientation courses. Last year, I held this for the very first time, where persons are able to come on Zoom, of course, and obtain information as it relates to what the subject is really about, the content of the syllabus, how the exam structure is like, my teaching style, of course, and some examination tips, all aimed in preparing them for the exam. Right, so I'm having it this year again. It's July 26, 27, 28 in the 3 subject areas that I tutor: social studies, POB, and OA in that order.
All right. Now, we're going to get some contact numbers in a little while, but why should persons choose you at the Institute of Academic Support?
We are different. Just look at our logo, and you can see the difference. We are passionate. I'm passionate. I'm patient, Petula. And passionate is actually one of the P's that will add it to my name after this intake. So I'm now passionate, patient, Petula. Every month we have a guest speaker coming in, something that is quite different. I decided to implement that with the last intake, and I'm doing it this year again. So we have persons coming in every month speaking on different topics. So for example, if we are doing contracts, I would have had Josanne Hackett and Avian Thomas, 2 lawyers who would come in and speak to them about contracts from a legal perspective. We did topics like insurance, and I have my agent Candice come in and speak to them about insurance. So that's the strategy that we use at the Academic Support, Institute of Academic Support. We also offer career guidance. So I really try to encourage them to be better people from a holistic standpoint. So we offer all of this at the Institute. It's not just preparing you for an exam, but it's for life.
That's right.
Yeah.
And why again you should choose her? Experienced, passionate, as she said, knowledgeable and relevant. Now, Pet, give us some contact numbers here really quickly.
You can contact me at 729-7567 or 394-3236. And we also have our Facebook and Instagram pages recently developed. You can send us messages on those platforms as well.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the program with us. So we await part 2, viewers. Okay, we await part 2. So we know what's a lot more coming up in the future for the Institute of Academic Support. Thank you for being on the program with us.
Thanks for having me, Ria.
All right. Well, viewers, we head on over to Tobago back in the day. Ooh, Tobago back in the day. Tobago back in the day. Where is this? Where was this? This looks pretty familiar. Where is it? Where is it? In fact, you've got some time to think about it, because we've got lots more coming up on the Tobago Updates morning show. So share the live, share the live, share the live.
There's a taste in the air everywhere. Feel the vibe, cause it's something to share. Smooth, rich and creamy, you'll find it right here. Makes you smile, relax a while, it's fun and good cheer. Ooh, enjoy every scoop. Ooh, every taste will get you hooked. We have flavors that you love, a combination special. Come along, enjoy our treats. This is Uncle Pete's.
The Street 919 FM and the Tobago Updates presents the Tobago Updates Morning Show live simulcast on the Street 919 FM. Start your day with all the information you want and need with the simulcast of the Tobago Updates Morning Show live Mondays to Fridays from 7 a.m. on the Street 919 FM, the official station that defends the nation.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show in this final segment. Back in the day, the photo back in the day. We were wondering if anyone has gotten the precise guess just yet.
So we've got some persons coming in here saying, okay, Ajay J. Allen says Lambo Bridge. Kishon Andrews says Lambo. Yeah. So far, yes. Carol Fraser Davidson. Good morning, Sister Carol. Lambo Bridge. Yes. So, Julian. And
the results are in.
Where is this Julian Skate?
Guide me, Ria.
So, my information suggests that yes, our three viewers who indicated Lambo, they are all correct. It is Bailey Bridge in Lambo, out there in Lower Tobago, West Tobago. Okay, just on the outskirts of Scarborough. But I remember Lambo looking like this. I remember that. Julian, that's before your time. You and Candace, you all were you might have been pretty young. You all may not recall this, but
clearly. But I'm here with you. I
remember at Tobago. It was just the other day that, it looked like that. But certainly Lambo has changed. If you grew up in the Lambo Lowlands area, Lambo has changed, yeah?
Indeed, very much. And it's been a beautiful morning. It's Monday, the 18th of July. And we look forward to seeing the energy that's going to be taking place in and around as we, look at the changes, so to speak, with the mask mandate.
Yes.
While on the break, I slipped downstairs there on the outside, and I was reminded, remember to put on your mask heading into a particular establishment. So I just dug into
So you had to put on your mask to go into that establishment?
The thing is, I wasn't even sure if I had it on me. But I dug into my and recognized that I did. So you had to put it on. So it's left to be seen. Let's see how this adjustment goes in terms of moving forward, because institutions and organizations do have the opportunity to indicate, in terms of having that enforcement. And I really want to say commendations and kudos to Petulia Jack.
Yes.
Excellent indeed. And she's also trains in other areas of life skills and so on. Quite exceptional. And commendations. Scarborough Secondary, indeed.
That's right.
We want to commend her for continuing to do exceptional work in molding and developing those young minds and moving in a positive direction.
All right, and we just want to remind our viewers here that you can send us, some information even as we go through the day today. Let us know how things went as you went into different establishments with regards to mask on, mask off, where required a mask, where did not. As well, we want to remind our viewers to please send in your graduation pictures. We want to do something with you guys. We want to share those pictures, all right, those dinner pics and grad pics. We want to share them, so send them into our email, or you can send it via WhatsApp on 284-6597.
All right.
So we're going to leave it there, yeah?
Yes, and
have a great day.
See, we also have on the mix with us presiding officer this morning on the live with us. Proud indeed, Scarborough Secondary School 2002 class.
All right.
All right.
2002, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some really young folks there. All right. But have a great day, Tobago. Stay safe on the roads. And remember to, I was going to say wear your mask, but, wear your mask, sanitize.
It's now optional.
And, remain socially distant. Protect you.
All right. And stay tuned, folks. After the break, we head on over to GMT. Good morning, Tobago with Candice. All right. Take care and bye for now, folks.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash in transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
There we go to Tobago, that paradise, Bumba, Robinson Crusoe. And it is said, it's the land of tomorrow. Princess Margaret say, come Tobago for holiday. Now the whole world say, come Tobago for holiday. Smile, every smile, every smile. In Tobago, that paradise, Bumba, Robinson Crusoe. And it is said, it's the land of tomorrow. Ronald Reagan say, come Tobago for holiday. Now Bill Clinton say, come Tobago for holiday. If you want a happy vacation, you can get it right here in my land. If you want a happy vacation, you can get it right here in my land.
Our national borders, our first step to security, but a possible access point for guns, drugs, crime. If it does not look right, do the right thing. Call Crime Stoppers anonymously. 800-8477. Report possible border crime.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region, with the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine. Here, I am Candice Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. The official launch of the Tobago Carnival is set to take place later this week under the theme Tobago, Welcome to Tobago Carnival. Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Tasia Burris, said it will be a spectator carnival and one that highlights traditional characters. Meanwhile, anticipation for Tobago Carnival in October is growing, with another band having their launch over the weekend. Zane launched their band under the theme Treasures of Speyside. The band drew inspiration from the natural elements and historical sites in the Eastern Village. The Tobago Heritage Festival is set to kick off later this week. The opening gala is scheduled for Friday. It runs until August 1st with an Emancipation Day show. Meanwhile, all events are free for the except for the opening gala and the Miss Tobago Heritage Personality Show. This decision was met with mixed reviews from the public. The Tobago Heritage Festival highlights aspects of the island's culture in various villages. It was cancelled in 2020 and took place virtually in 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, masks are not required anymore on Caribbean Airlines flights. The airline announced yesterday that they removed their mandatory mask policy on all flights. However, passengers will be encouraged to wear their masks at all times. Meanwhile, from today, masks are no longer required in public as the legislation is lifted. Although masks remain in place, mandated at health centers and hospitals. Additionally, masks are needed in certain situations such as at grocery and retail stores, places of worship, schools, workplaces, spas, salons, cinemas, and mass gatherings. And that was the news in 90 seconds. And we have another jam-packed program on GNT for you this morning, and we're going to get started. Gonna get right to it with our first guest, Mr. Dr. Ford Khan, who is the former Minister of Health for Trinidad and Tobago. Special good morning to you, sir.
Morning, Candice. Thanks for inviting me.
All right, great. So we're going to get the conversation kicked off, and of course we have the removal of the mask mandate today. What are your thoughts?
I think that should have been done long ago. I'm not a believer in the masks. I think what it does, it hinders respiration, and it causes people to have a resistance in front of nose and mouth. It does absolutely nothing because viruses are very, very small and they can pass through anything. So mask it's really a hindrance, and anybody who demands that a mask is on, except in a very crowded place, that makes no sense.
All right. Well, I noticed on your social media you said mask off tomorrow. The indoctrinated sheep will be wearing two masks because they're afraid. Can you tell me a little bit about that statement that you made?
Well, people have become so indoctrinated that they don't think anymore. In the population, only about 5% of people actually think and act. The other 95% just follow. And when I put that statement up, I realized that everybody, and I was listening to another radio station in Trinidad, and they said 91% of people said that when the mask mandate is lifted, they're going to still wear their masks. That is in keeping with the 19% that I indicated are indoctrinated to such an extent that they don't think. They just said they don't. It's a fear factor that is being promoted by worldwide about masks, and all a mask does is prevent somebody spitting in your face and you spitting in somebody's face. Other than that, it does absolutely nothing. But it hinders your respiration and disallows you from breathing properly.
Oh, okay. And let me ask you a little bit about how do you think the mask mandate worked in Trinidad and Tobago?
You cannot indicate how it worked because you did not have another cohort of people with no mask. The only way you would have understood it is if you have a cohort with no mask and a person with masks on, and you check to see what level of those people got COVID and what didn't. But since you legislated that masks are mandatory for everything and everywhere and every home, you can't really tell how it worked. All you will say is that it worked. But at the end of the day, there's no scientific study to say whether not wearing a mask or wearing a mask worked or didn't work. So it's a skewed answer.
All right. And I want you to tell me a little bit about the other regulations that were in place in terms of, restricting gathering and all these things. Like, did we have was it effective enough in fighting COVID-19?
Well, it was very effective in destroying the school structure, in destroying the economy, in destroying every single thing. It was extremely effective in that. That is why you see these SEA scores have plummeted to almost zero. Majority of people did not pass the exams. It was the worst SEA that we've seen because that is what has been accomplished with all the regulations. The economy is in shambles. People have lost their job. But by the way, we imagine our stores were locked down. Nobody could buy anything from us, but Amazon could have gotten in and brought stuff by transport. So at the end of the day, the only thing the lockdowns did was help big companies like Amazon and those distributor companies from the United States. It destroyed the local structure. It destroyed the education structure. People are out of jobs, and at the end of the day, in certain parts of the world, people are getting money to stay home, so they no longer want to work.
All right, and also know that you are someone that's very connected with what's happening on the outside. So I want you to tell me, just compare how we did, I mean, in terms of, you know, the regulations and that sort of thing, and the effectiveness in fighting COVID-19 compared to that of other countries.
Compared to which country? If Sweden, with that they had no lockdowns or no mask mandates, Florida that did not have much, South Dakota and different countries that did not have any mask mandates or lockdowns, they have done pretty well. Our country has not done well, and at the end of the day, there are a lot of people languishing in the hospitals of Trinidad and Tobago who, for the last 2.5 years, because they could not get medical treatment and they were told COVID takes precedent, a lot of them died, a lot of them did not get the medication, a lot of them were not treated because COVID took the forefront, and the regulations created a system, a double system, where a lot of people with chronic diseases and cancers, etc., were not treated.
Okay. Now that we're moving into this new phase where, you know, of course, we're moving out of the COVID-19 pandemic, but COVID-19 is still here with us. What should people do now? Because, of course, you said that, you know, the masks aren't so necessary, but what other steps should people be taking to guard themselves against COVID-19? And should they be very fearful at this point in time?
COVID-19 has a mortality rate of 1 or less %. 99% of people who contract COVID live. The people who have a hard time are people who have cardiac, respiratory, all sort of cancer, immunosuppressed disease, poor bad diabetes, etc. These are people who should take care of themselves, not the whole population taking care of them. So at the end of the day, if you have serious disorders and if you have serious comorbidities and you are obese, you are a candidate for a bad response to COVID. You have to be personally responsible for what you're doing. So at the end of the day, that cohort of people should take serious precautions on distancing. They should wear masks on their personally wear masks, and they should sanitize a lot by choice. Other than that, the population should not be pushed to put on masks, put on these regulations, etc., etc. If you are susceptible, yes, you need to protect yourself.
All right. And if you were to rate our government in terms of how they handle the situation, how would you rate them?
For August, for the 2020, I think it started off in March 2020.
March 2020.
I would rate them very good for the elections because they did a very good job to get back into power. Other than that, it's all a mess. People have been damaged irreparably because of their regulation. But they did what they had to do to get back into office. They were in your face every day. The chief medical officer in your face every day. Every single minister, everybody was in your face, the prime minister. So before the elections, people got the impression that yes, they were doing a good job. They were voted back into office, so they achieved their objective, similar to New Zealand and the other countries. And then after that was downhill for the whole country and the education system.
And if you were the minister well, now I should say, but if this had happened under your tenureship, how would you have handled it?
Differently, I would have not let the chief medical officer call the shots. I would have gotten a committee together of specialist officers, and they would have decided how we were going forward. At the end of the day, the World Health Organization could produce certain regulations, but we don't have to listen to them. We have to look and see how it would affect our economy, our children, etc. And COVID had always been shown after the first month to have a mortality rate of less than 1%. So you were destroying a country for a less than 1% system. I would not have gone this way. I'd have gone the way of Florida, Sweden, or South Dakota.
All right, great. And I mean, as we're getting ready to wrap up, what message do you have for the people of Trinidad and Tobago at this point in time, now that we are moving out of the pandemic, beyond masking and that sort of thing?
I will have people of Trinidad and Tobago, if you are susceptible with bad diabetes, bad cardiac problems, bad respiratory problems, cancers, immunosuppressed diseases, kidney transplants, etc., protect yourself. Socially distance there, watch where you're going, and mask up in crowded areas. Other than that, don't let the fear take you over, because you'll have a rotten life.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Fuad Khan, for joining us. It was a pleasure speaking with you this morning. But viewers, that's just one interview. Don't worry, we'll be right back with more after this quick break.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your life can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. If sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry. If times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Excel Spa by Haley, where our highly trained staff are ready to deliver the top-class services in facial massages, waxing, nail enhancement and body treatment. We are ideally located at Coco Avenue, Susalands, Tobago. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TripAdvisor, or you can call us on 730-0149. Excel Spa by Haley. Relax, renew, and rejuvenate.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules, or if you are having a cooking day off.
Come, there we go to Tobago. That paradise, bung by Robinson Crusoe. And it is said, it's the land of tomorrow. Princess Margaret say, come to Tobago for holiday. Now the whole world say, come to Tobago for holiday. Smile, every smile in Tobago. That paradise, bung by Robinson Crusoe. It's the land of tomorrow. Ronald Reagan said, come to Tobago for holiday. Now Bill Clinton said, come to Tobago for holiday. If you want a happy vacation, you can get it right here in my land. If you want a happy vacation, you can get it right here in my land.
Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, and of course we are chatting here with two of the graduates from the St. George's University, and we are talking about an open day coming up this evening I should say, where it's just an information session to engage prospective students about who are interested in becoming a student at St. George's University all the way out in Grenier. Well, I should say not all the way out, but just next door at our neighboring island. So a special good morning to Mrs. Tristilla Myers and Dr. Carrie-Ann Dillon. Welcome to the program this morning.
Thank you, and I'm very glad to be here.
All right, so we're going to start off with Tristilla, and just tell me a little bit about what did you do at St. George's University?
I studied bachelor's in psychology. Actually, I started with information technology, and then I transitioned into psychology about a year into my program at SGU. Yeah.
And Dr. Carrie-Ann?
Okay, so I would have attended St. George's University Medical School during the period of 2011 and 2016, so I would have graduated in 2016. Right, so I went to the medical school.
And so I want you guys to tell me about your experience, both of you. I guess we could start with Tristilla first, but tell me a little bit about your experience at St. George's University.
Well, I had a good experience. I always sing praises to the school. I had a different experience from most persons because even though I am a Tobagonian, I spent most of my life in Grenada, so I went to school as a local. I didn't live on campus. I'm not sure if Kerry lived on campus.
For the first time I did.
So I lived in Grenada, so my experience was more from the perspective of a local, and it was just as excellent, I'm sure, as everybody else that went to school and lived on campus.
Yeah, so I agree. It was a very positive experience for me as well. So I did live on campus, so I did get that experience being on the dorms and experiencing the full campus activities and whatnot. So yeah, I can't really say that I had any bad experiences when it came to going to SGU. And one of the reasons why I actually chose the university was not just because of the campus life and the campus activity and whatnot, but they really do have a strong student support system, so you never really feel like you're there alone, right? It's also considered the number one or the top medical school in the Caribbean, so that's one of the main reasons why I chose the university as well. And of course it's close to home, so I didn't want to go anywhere that was too far from home, and I also chose it because I really appreciate the activities on the campus, as I would have mentioned previously.
Well, tell me a little bit more about that student support services, especially for someone not a local in Grenada.
Well, it's something that is available for all students. So to be quite honest with you, we do have specific departments that would give support to students, but I felt like support was given at every level. Right, so it wasn't just the psychological services, it wasn't just the Department of Educational Services. If a student needed support, they could get it from their advisor, they can get it from their lecturers, they could get it from the clinical instructors and clinical tutors. So at every level, support is really given to students to help them throughout their journey in medical school.
All right, and Tristilla, as someone who was a part of that psychology program, tell me a little bit about that support that you got while you were there.
Well, for me, I'm now thinking back on it, I like to say that I wasn't very heavily involved in university life, but when I really think about it, I was, because I was part of the student support systems in terms of there is an option where you have student tutors. I was a student tutor. I also worked with the recruitment services for the school, and I did make use of the psychological services for the school because I had a death in my family while I was at St. George's University. So I think I made use of a lot of the student support systems, and that is one of the things that I could really speak praises for St. George's University. Besides having a beautiful campus, there is a very strong support for students. So even though you're far away from home, you have so many different avenues that you could reach out, and so many different avenues depending on what your issue is. It doesn't have to be academic, but you are supported in all forms that you could possibly think about.
Okay. I want you guys to give me an idea of what student life is like, because I know there's a lot of really young people looking out here, and they're trying to consider their options, trying to weigh their options. So tell me a little bit about what student life was like, Dr. Carrie Ann.
Well, for the brief moment that I was on campus, so as I mentioned, I did stay on campus for my first term at St. George's Medical University. So I would say that it was very lively, right? So we would have a lot of activities on the courts, right? So like basketball on the big fields, football, stuff like that. But other than that, a lot of students took the opportunity to just study as well, right? So you're not just, getting involved in campus activities. There are so many avenues that are available to students to be able to study, not just within the libraries, but on the outside as well, right? So the way how the campus is set up is more or less to make students very, very comfortable. So they will have student areas or student rooms on the outside of classrooms, gazebos, things like that, just to make the campus life very comfortable for these students.
And Trisela, why should students here in Tobago consider SGU as their choice for their tertiary schooling?
Besides the student support services, the campus is extremely beautiful, very inviting. Also, Tobagonians, I think, will feel very much at home being in Grenada. As a matter of fact, if you don't speak to a Tobagonian, you might think that they are Grenadian on campus. And another thing for me, well, from what I have experienced and seen, is that SGU provides so much activities, as Dr. Dillon was saying, that you tend to form a very, very strong bond with the students, even if they are not in your degree or in your area, because I am an undergraduate and Dr. Dillon was in medicine, but you still get to have experiences with people across campus, no matter what degree they're doing. So there's so many things. There's nothing negative that I could really say. Of course, people have negative experience, but I didn't, and I don't know if Dr. Dillon did, but there isn't anything negative that I could say that I can use to deter somebody. So anything that you could think about, any questions that somebody might have about why they shouldn't, put it aside. The SGU is definitely a good option when it comes to tertiary education, whether it's undergraduate or medicine.
And Dr. Carrie Ann, I just want you to tell me as well, I mean, from a non-Grenadian perspective, like, why should people consider, going to Grenada?
Well, again, it all depends on what you're looking for in your whole university experience, right? I can tell you from my experience or why I chose to go to St. George's Medical School, and I would have mentioned it previously before. I was looking for that top medical school in the Caribbean, right? So St. George's University, check that off. I love the competitive nature of the school as well, right? So I did want to go to a medical school that would push me to be the best version of myself. And yeah, like I said, it's really not far from home, and you do get quality medical education at SGU. The way how the curriculum is set up, it really does lay the foundation very nicely for medical students to help them become very critical, independent thinkers, which is something that you need as a doctor, right? That is something that is of paramount importance, right? So it does really lay that foundation very nicely to help you develop all the skills that you need to become a very successful doctor in the future.
And do you think you're better off for choosing SGU for your education?
Most definitely. I do not regret it. So yeah, definitely I think that it was worth it.
And Trisela, same. Do you think you're better off?
I am. I definitely am. I think just to piggyback on what she just said is that one thing I could definitely remember is SGU doesn't allow you to fail. If you fail, anything, a course, a program, it's because you really tried hard to fail. SGU does not allow you to fail. People follow up with you on stuff that if they see the grades are not good, they follow up with you. Do you need assistance? Do you need a student to, help you? Of anything that you really need, SGU is not allowing you to just slip into the cracks and fail. So that, I think, is really important for when parents are letting their young children starting university, go off to school. I think that's a good thing, that you could rely on the school to know that they're going to definitely help your child or help you to succeed.
Okay. And viewers, of course, if you're looking, these are just two of the panelists that will be on this evening, speaking about SGU and why and how, and answering all the questions that you have about coming to the university. Right? So, so I just want to thank you guys for being here with us this morning. But we're going to hear a bit more about this outreach, this open day, this information session that is happening later this evening. So don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back after the break.
Looking for plants for your garden or even a thoughtful gift for a friend? We at Eden Nurseries are waiting to welcome you with our affordable prices and variety of indoor and outdoor plants, flowers, palms, soil blends, pots, landscaping services, maintenance, irrigation services, and water features. Visit our garden shop and nursery Monday to Friday 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturdays 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. located at the back of Orange Hill Gas Station, Shore Park, Tobago, or call us 639-0776 and let us help you bring your garden to life.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax, we will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
There's a taste in the air everywhere. Feel the vibe, cause it's something to share. Smooth, rich and creamy, you'll find it right here. Makes you smile, relax a while, it's fun and good cheer. Ooh, enjoy every scoop. Ooh, every taste will get you hooked. We have flavors that you love, a combination special. Come along, enjoy your treats. This is Uncle Pete's.
The Street 919.
Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, and we are continuing our conversation this morning on St. George's University. Of course, we had graduation just in the last couple of weeks, and there's a lot of students that are considering their options, and there are quite a few options out there, and one of them is, of course, St. George's University. And there's going to be a session this evening, but to tell us a little bit about that information session, where you young people, viewers who are interested in St. George's University for your education, we have Mrs. Marshall Stachon Mitchell, and who's going to be telling us a little bit about this evening's activities. Good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning, Candice, and it is indeed a pleasure to rejoin Tobago Updates in sharing more about this evening's session. Of course, I'm Marcel Sean Mitchell. I work as part of the admissions team from the Caribbean admissions team from St. George's University, and this evening at 5 p.m. at the Tobago Library Services, we are going to have an information session for Tobago, right? And that we have, as you saw earlier, 2 of our grads on. They will join me together with other graduates from Tobago and share their experiences so that persons can know more about who we are and what we do at St. George's University, and most importantly, what is in it for them. Okay, so we are excited, and we are hoping more persons will register, because we are seeing a number of persons registering already. So more persons who are listening in now can register and attend this evening session.
And how can people go about registering?
Okay, good question. So on the Facebook page of Tobago Updates, the registration link will be posted. So anybody listening to this right now, you can just find that registration link on the site, click register, and be there this afternoon at 5.
Do you have to register to attend?
We will prefer that you do. Yes, so once you're hearing this, just do the right thing and register. At least we'll be able to cater for you more adequately this afternoon.
All right, great. So let's talk a little bit about St. George's University itself, right? So people are hearing us talk about St. George's University, and then they're wondering, well, what programs do you guys offer? Like, is it just to become a doctor? Like, tell me a little bit about just the curriculum there.
Right. So St. George's University is known for our medical program simply because we started solely as a school of medicine in 1977. And to date, since we started, we have over 19,000 medical doctors who have graduated from St. George's University. But apart from the School of Medicine, we offer a School of Arts and Sciences. We just saw Trisilla, who is one of the graduates from that program. Under that School of Arts and Sciences program, we offer bachelor degrees in business. We do information technology. We have biology. We do marine biology. We do sociology, psychology. So there are a number of other degrees apart from medicine that we offer. Then I spoke of School of Medicine, I touched on School of Arts and Sciences. We also have a School of Veterinary Medicine. So those of you who like dealing with animals know that if your interest is becoming a vet, you can pursue that at St. George's University. And then we offer the fourth program being a graduate studies program, where persons can do master's degrees. They can do a master's in public health, and that one can be done online. Also an MBA in international business or MBA multi-sector health management, and then a range of other master's degrees. So 4 main programs with a number of different degree options under.
All right. I mean, and give me an idea of, how much Tobago students have been a part of St. George's, because I know quite a few of them, right? But I mean, just give me an idea, because I mean, some people are always fearful of going to another country to study, and I mean, it's not something that you should be fearful. It's something that you should be embracing. Travel and study. It's sometimes the best education that you can get.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about that Grenada-Tobago connection that exists.
Happy that you asked that, because as I said the last time, it's home away from home, and literally Trinidad is one of our largest Caribbean student population that we see on campus. So any Tobagonian listening to this now, know that when you come to Grenada, you will not be alone. There will be many other Trinidadians, Tobagonians, other Caribbean students on campus, because it does represent the largest Caribbean market that we have on campus. And speaking of that, our multicultural nature is actually one of the advantages of attending St. George's University, because when you attend St. George's University, you will not only be in classes with other persons from Grenada or from Trinidad and Tobago, but you'll be meeting students from different parts of America, from Africa, from Asia, from Europe, and that are all being taught by faculty from all over the world. And that actually enriches the academic experience you get at St. George's University.
Right. And I mean, give me an idea of, how does that help in making you a better rounded student and coming out as a better adjusted adult?
Right. Well, we live in a global village, and networking is important, as I'm sure we all know by now, right? And I always hear our graduates speak of, yes, they're working now, but having connections in different parts of the world who can help them. So not only can you be helped by a fellow med graduate if you're a doctor, but you will be in contact with somebody from arts and sciences. So you may have a private practice as a doctor, but you may have had a friend in another part of the world who is very good in business, graduated with a business degree at SGU, and your connection can enable you to be a better doctor. So networking is very important, and being immersed in a student culture where you mingle with persons from different parts of the world conditions and prepares you for success.
And of course, education is not cheap, and I know that one of the things that you're going to be speaking about later, at least more in detail this evening, is that about student support and tuition support. Correct. And I just want to know if you can briefly give us an idea of what's available for students who are wishing to come to the university.
Right. So support services, as you've rightly shared, is one of the pillars. Right. We know that life happens. Trisilla mentioned that she had a death while she was studying and she needed that support. So we have psychological services support. We have clinic where persons can be attended to physically. We have a Department of Educational Services where we have invested in supporting our students academically. Things like time management, peer tutoring, all of that, part of our support system. You spoke of in terms of financial aid. We are aware of that. We are aware of the times in which we live, when persons need scholarships, when persons need financial aid. And I'm going to tell persons, come to this afternoon session, because we're excited to share more about the scholarships we have for our Caribbean students, because there's one specifically for Caribbean students. Yeah, and we're going to share more about that at the information session this evening. So persons listening, come out. Parents listening, come as well, because the parents are the one most times who are footing the bill.
Of course.
So you want to be there as well, and we are prepared to welcome you, to hear your questions, and to have them responded to.
And then is there a way so that there's a continuous conversation with, I guess, with yourself as the agent here in Tobago?
Certainly. So persons can email us. That's one way. So they email us admission@sgu, so a very straightforward email address. Once you email us asking to meet with us, probably on a one-on-one conversation, or just want to probably have a question asked in the email, you can do that. But if you want to have that one-on-one conversation with us and you ask us for such, we can schedule an appointment with you where we can have, both of us can speak, or not only myself, because it's a team, as I mentioned.
Yes.
So we have admissions counselors or admissions coordinator. Our entire team is prepared and ready to meet with persons where they are and have their questions answered.
And what is one major reason why students should consider SGU to get their education?
One major reason, the first one I will say is, again, I must say support. Yes, you all are, in terms of Tobagonians, is 30 minutes away and all of that. But I believe, especially in the times that we are living now, when people need each other, people need help. We all need at some point or the other. I believe it is important when you're considering pursuing your education to think of a place that knows that you will need help at a certain point, that knows that you'll need to be supported and will provide such support for you.
All right, and now for the benefit of the viewers who may not have caught you at the beginning of this interview, could you just give us an idea of how to get connected with this information setting, all the information about when, where it is, and how they should register?
Sure. So persons who are listening, who missed the first part of the session, you can go on to the Facebook page, Tobago Updates Facebook page. The registration link is there for this evening's session, because we want you to register first so that we can know exactly how many persons will be coming. You register and you show up for 5 p.m. at the Tobago Library Services this afternoon. And our entire team will be there to welcome you and to hear you and to share what we have to offer with you.
All right, Ms. Master, I just want to thank you so much for being with us and to sharing that information. And I really hope that a lot of students out there do consider SGU for their education. They won't regret it.
You're very welcome, Candice, and thank you for the opportunity.
All right, great. I want to thank you so much, viewers, of course, for staying with us. And, just the continued support that you have here for us at Tobago Updates. It was a pleasure being with you this morning. And yeah, that's it for me. So just have a wonderful, productive, and safe day. And we'll see you again tomorrow at 7 a.m. So bye for now.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong.